how do I calm myself down when I'm already anxious? So, one of the big questions that people have is when you're already at that point where you're anxious, you have the racing heartbeat, the shortness of breath, the shakiness, how do you get to that point of being able to calm yourself down? So I'm going to give you 3 tips, and these are 3 basic tips, but I have a little bit more to say about them and a little bit of a revision to how you should do them. So the first is to practice breathing, to do deep breathing. And so that's a simple taking a deep breath in and letting it out. That's the best way that you can go about regulating your breathing, is to force yourself to slow it down. Now, as somebody who has had anxiety attacks, I know that in that moment, it is very hard to start collecting your breaths like that. And so, if at all possible, have somebody help you. Have somebody to tell you, come on, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Having somebody to guide you through that breathing is very helpful in being able to actually successfully breathe. And in addition to that, their hand on your back, them being close to you, knowing that you have somebody there supporting you, really makes it a lot easier for you to stop and take those breaths. So the second way is to count. And this is also a technique for anger, and they say, well, count to 10. Now, my thing is, I don't believe in counting to 10 or counting to 20. I don't believe in counting up anywhere, because we have been learning how to count since depending on our parents, since we were very young. And so counting is so easy for us to do. It doesn't require much thought process. We just go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's easy. And so you get to that 10 and it's like, well, what now? So I always say to count backwards. Pick a random number, 44, and just start counting backwards. This takes effort. Not a whole bunch of effort that you're going to get frustrated and increase your anxiety, but it takes effort to be able to do it. And so what it does is it forces you to think differently. Now, if the counting backwards doesn't work, I always say your ABCs backwards. That is a daunting task. It is very difficult to do, or maybe I'm just slow, I don't know. But it's a hard thing to do, to be able to do your ABCs backwards, because we have never learned that. And so if you take that time to sit there and try to do your ABCs backwards, then you're going to really slow down every other thought that you're having, because all your attention is going to that. And tip number 3 is, I call it taking you to your happy place. And what it is it's stopping and imagining yourself somewhere. I like to do the beach because I love the beach. And so I'll think of myself laying on the beach, and it's like, well, what does the beach look like? Oh, there's white sand. It's clear blue water. There's a hot cabana boy bringing me the happy hour special of drinks. I'm laid out in a hot bikini, and the sound of the waves are splashing against the shore. Is being able to really take yourself there. So think about how you feel. How does the sun feel on you? What does the wind feel like? What do you smell? Just really grounding yourself in that image of that happy place for you. And so again, what it does, it takes you somewhere else. It takes you out of that anxiety provoking situation and places you somewhere more calm, more relaxing, even if you can't get to that place. And so these kind of things can be done, like if you have a fear of public speaking, to take yourself to that place before you go out. If you have a fear of leaving your home, is to get yourself in that place where you're calm. Going into an anxiety provoking situation when your anxiety levels are already high doesn't help you any. And so the 3 tips again: breathing. I prefer to be guided breathing. Counting backwards or going backwards on the ABCs, and taking yourself to your happy place. So I hope you can try out some of those tips. Let me know what helps you, what doesn't. If there is something outside of those 3, which I'm sure there is because I have others, let me know what you use. And I hope you're able to calm that anxiety down a little bit.